Do you want to get amazing at sales and marketing, right? It's so interesting. And I learned this from Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, and some of these other fantastic comedians. This thing that they use to make millions and millions of dollars, and that I've used to make millions and millions in sales, that I'm going to share with you today. Because if they can do it and I can do it, guess what, girl? You can do it too. What's up? This is your boy Wick. Wick, 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 wick. Shut up. Why do I do this? If you're new to the group, first of all, my name is Wick. I am your host with the most in terms of sales, marketing ideas that really, 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 really work. I should be charging stupid money to teach you this, but why am I doing it for free? Because I want you to win. There's a lot of estheticians that are struggling in this game. I do not want you to be one of them. And more importantly, I'm trying to buy your goodwill because I'm trying to give so much to you that works that you're like, you know what? Because at some point I'm going to start selling something, but I want you to trust me so much. And I tell people, I go, trust me blindly because I will never steer you wrong. That's not my intention. My intention is to help you win, make money, so you can have extra money and you can give your boy some. Woo! All right. So what is Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, pretty much every comedian doing? Here's the deal. Did you know that if you see, first of all, who here watches stand-up comedy? Do you watch stand-up comedy? I love some Anthony Jeselnik, some God, they're just slipping out just right there. Kevin Hart, obviously, Chris Rock, old school Eddie Murphy, and I've watched them multiple times. So did you know how they come up with the jokes? What these comedians do is before they plan their big Netflix special or HBO special, what they do is they go to all these dive bars, these dive low key comedy clubs, and they'll write out, like, let's just say 10 jokes. And they'll go up and on stage and they'll say those 10 jokes. And out of those 10 jokes, let's just say only one or two hit. And the other one, like, they're like, okay, cool. So they got one or two good ones that they good, and they scratch off the rest. Then they go to another comedy bar, they get those two jokes, and then they write eight more of the other ones, some brand new ones. And out of those two, one or two hit. Cool. So now they got four. So they keep doing that, repeat, 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 until they have something that is like all the jokes are hitting, or they got a good response from. Does that make sense? And so it's basically trial and error, and they use that information, and then they're like, okay, cool, now I'm ready. And then of course they do the practice, they do all these things, and now they're ready because they've done all this time and energy to get the good content to deliver a final product that they know. And then what do? For 1 year, they go all over the world telling the same jokes. 'Cause I've seen Chris Rock stuff like a bunch of times. It cracks me up. Eddie Murphy, raw, delirious, right? To this day, love that stuff. I will put that on repeat, even though I know the jokes, even though I've heard the jokes, right? I'll hear them again. So why am I telling you this? I think a lot of estheticians, I see what y'all are doing. You're making this too hard. And if you want it harder, easy in terms of business and sales, which would you like to be? Would you like your business to be harder, or would you like your business to be easier? Easier, I hope. Easy? Yeah. Say yeah, Wick. Yeah, Wick. I want it easy. I want the easy way. Woo, woo. All right, cool. So uh, understand this. Business is not as sexy or complicated as you make it out to be. Business is a game, just like those comedy, how they do it. It is a game of memorization and repetition. Those two things. You memorize things and then you repeat it again and again. You don't always need to come up with the same, something new every single time you meet somebody. McDonald's commercials. I'm loving it, right? Right, whatever. Geico Lizard, Geico, you could save 20% or less on your insurance in just 5 minutes or something like that, whatever their tagline is or something like that, right? So your job is to basically, like these comedians, come up with solutions and lines that once you got it, you keep those for the rest of your life. You make tweaks here and there, but you're good for a while until you get better and hear better ones. But this is exactly what I would do if I was you, because this is what I did to grow my business and my brands and everything. Is I just find things that work and I'll repeat them. So if I was an esthetician, let's just say like just like you, and I go to a networking event and people go, hi, what's up, how are you doing, blah blah blah. I did a video on if you have people ask you how you're doing, how to be different about that just yesterday. So if you didn't watch it, watch it. It's a good video. It'll just by learning how to differentiate yourself by answering that question is gonna set things up. But you're at a networking event, a chamber of commerce mixer or whatever. People, what do people ask you? Hi, what is your name? What do you do? So if you say, oh, I'm an esthetician, right? First of all, I don't think 50% of the world knows what an esthetician is. I didn't know what an esthetician was until I started working. I didn't know what an esthetician was until I started working with estheticians. That's like the story of my life. I didn't know how to drive a stick shift car until I bought what was it? My Mitsubishi Eclipse drop top, convertible, which happened to be stick shift. I didn't even know how to drive stick shift. I do stupid shit like that, but I learned. But if I was at a networking event, people ask, what do I do now? Instead of saying I'm an esthetician, you know what I would say is go, you know what, Sarah? Interestingly enough, 80% of women do not or are not accurately, they don't know what their skin type is. And because they don't know what their skin type is and how their skin reacts to different things, they are buying the wrong products and they're using it the wrong way, that even though they think it might be helping, they're actually hurting their skin. So what I do is I'm a skincare specialist and I help clients find what their right skin type is so that the products that they use will get them the results that they're looking for, such as, reducing acne, fine lines, wrinkles, turn back the clock of aging, reduce the rosacea, etc., blah, 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 blah. You see how because I just know the formula of how to say it. So when somebody asks me what I do, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm an esthetician. It's like people, because what'll happen is people will immediately put you in a bucket. They're like, oh, okay, you do skin, okay, cool. They don't understand it all, right? And if you leave that conversation that way, it's a wasted opportunity. So instead of answering it that way, like, oh, I'm an esthetician, or oh, I do skin, or oh, I'm a skincare specialist, go, you know what, Sarah, interestingly enough, most women do not know what their skin type is, and because of that, they make the mistake of buying products that are actually not helping but hurting their skin and making them look older faster. So what I do is I help people find out the right correct skin type so they know which products to use that will get them results. Right? You see how that's a little bit, but can you see I've said that like already twice, and every single time I say that, I'm gonna get better and better, and I'm gonna repeat that one line to every person I meet. Intro, you're like, well, aren't people gonna get bored? No, people are gonna be like, damn, that person is on point because they know they came here prepared, right? So it's just me saying a line, and sometimes I've said lines that didn't work, right? Sometimes I've just like the comedian, I've had jokes or whatever that failed miserably. And then I'm like, okay, cool. That did not get me the result I want. What do I need to tweak? Do I need to be more funny? Do I need to be more serious? Do I need to be more professional, right? And kind of gauge it in that direction. And sometimes I'll have like three lines. I'll use one line for men, one line for women, one line for goats. I don't know, right? Why? Billy Goat need good skin too? Psst. But other times, like for example, as an esthetician, you might have, if you're talking to a person they have acne, you might have one line for acne. If they're an older woman, you might have a second line for fine lines, wrinkles, age management, etc. But you see how that works? Okay, so going back to these comedians and their jokes, they tried things and They just know what's up. Another thing comedians are really, really good at is they shut it down when a heckler talks smack, or a heckler says something, is it, are you ever surprised how these comedians just boom, they say something, boom, they shut it down. Boom. A lot of these things you might be thinking, wow, this person's really good on their feet. One thing you do not know, it's a secret. I know because I live in this world of stuff, is these things are rehearsed. Comedians will actually practice. Okay, what if somebody just on and stands up and says, "You suck." Yeah, and they'll be like, "You know what? Yeah, I do." And your mama appreciates it. Woo! I'm just quick witted, so I'll come up with shit. And I'm pretty sure these comedians are on the fly too, like that too, whatever, right? But they practice these things. So, for example, a couple of things that will just change your business around if you just kill it now. You just handle it now. Do the work one time, do the work like these comedians, and then you'll be able to use this for the rest of your life. What are these things I'm talking about? They're like called objections in the industry. So have you ever had a client come and tell you, oh, you know what, I just can't afford it, price is too high, I can't afford it right now. God, if only I had the time. I just don't have the time, right? Or the infamous number three is, I'll think about it. Let me think about it, right? I'll think about that, right? And then I'll let you know. You are going to get those objections for your whole beauty business life, right? At what point do you want to get good at it so you don't have to deal with it again and again? So what you would do, and this is why in the group I started doing those triple B hashtag BBB hot topics. Just put hashtag BBB hot topics. I'll ask these questions in the group to get a bunch of estheticians to respond and say, if someone says the price is too high, how would you respond to that? Someone says, oh, I'm too busy, how would you respond to that, right? And the reason I did this is I want you to go through that and go, okay, because I think those are like the big three. Maybe there's some other ones that you can think of, but if you can address 80% of it, you're fine, right? The other stuff is like you get to the other stuff as you can. But I think it's, I can't afford it, I don't have the time, I'll think about it. I think those are the big three. So what I would do if I was you, because I have done this in my past businesses that gave me the confidence, because when somebody would hit me with that zinger, I would already know what to say. I would already know what to do because I've done it a million times. Is one, come up with just like two or three responses. So let's just say you have these three objections. Just come up with three responses for each of those that work. You don't come up here. Take my advice. I've made this mistake in the past. I've come up with like 20 responses. Dude, you don't need 20. You literally just need about two. Two, three tops. But most of the times out of those three, I always felt like one was my default and the other one I would use every now and then. So I would come up with responses for each of those. Step two is memorize those. They must be planted in your cerebellum. Like to this day, before I used to work for another company, and they would, we would practice price objection. Someone says, "Hey, your price is too high." It's the first response everybody still remembers. I haven't been with that company for 10 years. I still remember it because it was drilled in my mind. I'd be like, I realize price is an important factor. What are some of the other factors you consider when placing a business decision or making a business decision, right? I remember that 10 plus years ago, 20 years ago, in fact, I think it is now. But I still remember it because I had it memorized. Every morning I would wake up and I would have these sheets of paper and I would go over it again and again and again and again and again and again and again, again. Right? And to this day, I still know like probably about 50% of them. 20 years ago, I memorized 20 years ago. So step one is write out the answers to these objections. Someone tells you, I don't have the time. What are you going to say? Someone tells you, you know what, I can't afford it right now. What are you going to say? Don't tell them, well, when you can't afford it, come, let me know. No, no, no. These people, they want to buy from you. They want to. When someone tells me I can't afford it, what I hear is they're telling me, you know, I don't think I can afford it. Can you show me that how I can afford this so I can take you up on the services? Oh, oh, flip your script. Flip your script. Tell them, go. When someone says, you know what, I'll think about it, they're like, you know what? In your mind, I want you to think. They're like, okay, you know what? I just can't make up my mind. Can you help me make up my mind for me because I am double sided. I just I just can't make this decision right. I'm indecisive as a person, right? If someone tells you they don't have the time, what I'm asking is to go, you know what? I don't feel I have the time. Is there a way you can help me uncover some time that maybe I didn't know about so I could take advantage of this beauty solution? I want you to flip the script of how you see these, how you think of them, and see it this way because this is where if you're passing up on these opportunities or you're like, well, I don't want to be salesy, I don't want to be pressure. At some point, you're going to have to push. At some point, you're going to have to pressure. If somebody's picking their skin, would you pressure them? Go, hey, I need you to stop picking your skin. If somebody is not washing their face at night or using a cleanser, and so go, hey, I need you. Listen to me. This is me pressuring you. I need you to do this because if you don't, you're not going to get those results. And if that's the case, it makes no sense for you to work with me because you're going to make me look bad, right? So step one is come up with the answers. Step two is practice, practice, practice. Repeat it until you memorize it. And step three is make it part of your morning routine. I want you to basically wake up just like, how dumb it would be for basketball players if they don't warm up, right? Or like a basketball player, they do free throw shots or shooting, or they're jogging back and forth, or boxer, or any professional athlete. Do they warm up? Yeah. Well, you as an esthetician, you must warm up your mind and get ready for the day because you're gonna hear these answers. People are gonna DM you. People are gonna say, "Hey, how much?" Right? You gotta be able to take control of that situation. If people tell you, go, "Hey, you know what? I was looking at this. I'd love to do. I just don't have the time." Go, okay, hold on. Here, I got some responses for you, right? So one is come up with those answers. Come up with, I would say, about three each. That's it. So basically, all you need to do is memorize about nine. You got three objections. You got I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I'll think about it. And you get three each. Those are basically like nine sentences. That'll fit on one piece of paper, right? One piece of paper can change your business, can change your life because you'll finally be able to address this confidently and then kind of just take it with your business. And then just practice it every day, right? That's it. Wake up in the morning, have that sheet of paper, whatever your morning routine is with your coffee, read that again and again. That's how I did it. I wanted success so bad, and I swear I have like ADDHD, SLMNOP, QRS or something. It takes me forever to memorize things. I cannot memorize things. When I do, it takes me forever. But this was so important to me. I wrote this on this big old poster board, and on my bed, shit you not, I tacked it to the ceiling, and so I would before I go to bed, I would like read it and just like when I wake up and it takes me a while, I would just sit there and read it, blah, 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 blah. So whatever works for you, but memorize the stuff, right? Memorize it, have it on a sheet of paper so you can refer to it all the time. And if you just do these things, again, this is how comedians do it. This is how Kevin Hart is making hundreds of millions of dollars. It's no secret. He goes and tries out a bunch of jokes. He'll hear something, and you're like, "Ooh, I like the way that responded. Ooh, I like the way he does that." Right? So same thing with the hashtag triple B hashtag BBBB hot topics is I'll ask questions like, what's an analogy you'll use? Because this is all information that you'll be able to use when you talk to clients. Take advantage of that. I'm doing that for you, right? And if you're not using that's already there, I think 80% of the work's already done for you. And that's why. So that's a method to my madness because I want to help you. And that's how I get more ideas because I'm not an esthetician, so I don't speak that SD talk as much. So when other SDs chime in, I'm like, okay, I'm learning, I'm learning, I'm learning. So hopefully this was of value to you. Use what works. No need to reinvent the wheel. Handle this one time. and your business will forever be changed. Like forever, forever, ever. Yes, Miss Jackson. Whoo! I am for real. So do it. Talk to you soon. Be amazing.